Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from around the world. It's great to be back with you for another set of six as we prepare for the European Championships. And tonight we have the beautiful people of Ireland joining us. They're our first cabs off the rank to talk about the Euros. So without any further ado, let's welcome Paul Brown and also Katrina from Ireland. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Adam.
So the build up to the European Championships, how many teams are Ireland sending to Euros?
We've got 8 teams that we're sending to the European Championships this year, so which is most we've ever sent. Yes,
that's awesome to see, and a little bit of the wilderness for international touch. I know you guys got back on the paddock there over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, but you'd be itching for the Euros.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a hiatus, and obviously gradually coming out of COVID and trying to find, getting back into the swing of things and trying to find some tournaments, and they've been gradually coming back online. So we feel as though everything's starting to come back to some sort of normality tournament-wise now.
Yeah, fair enough. And what about yourself, Katrina? How have you found the build-up and the leading to the Euros?
It's been really exciting getting back on the pitch and getting back playing matches and training camps and all of that after such a long break. So it's really exciting to have a big international tournament coming up again. It's been 3 years since our last tournament, the World Cup. So it's really exciting to be competing at an international level again. So really looking forward to it. I might just add to Paul's comment there that we also have 3 teams that we're sending to the Junior European Championships. So not to exclude those, their juniors are working really, really hard as well and training for the Junior Championships. So looking forward to that as well.
That's awesome as well. Yeah, bringing the youth through and building those 8 teams that you've got there. That's an outstanding thing. What about yourself, Katrina? What's your role in the Euros? Player, administrator, referee?
So this year I am vice captain of the women's 35s team, and I'm also an assistant coach in our team. So kept busy.
Jack of all trades.
A little bit. That's for sure. Yeah, I've also been involved in.
Oh, sorry, Katrina. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, I've also been involved in setting our fitness program and doing a lot of fitness work with the team since for the last 8-10 months at this stage now. So been doing a lot of work with the team. Yeah.
Wow, a real multitasker. So, Paul, what about yourself?
I'm head coach of the women's 27s this time.
Excellent. And how's the team looking?
It's been a long campaign. We started back in August last year with a lot of players who potentially would have been new to the Euros in 2020, which didn't happen. So we've had to sort of keep those players on board. So there's been some good improvement over the last couple of months. So we're in as good a shape as we can be.
Fair enough. And just for the viewers out there that are sitting by and watching this coverage, you can ask questions. If you have any questions of Paul or Katrina, please shoot them into the comments there, and we'll ask them as we progress. Overall, how are the teams preparing? How's preparations going for all of your squads?
Okay, so if I start off some of the open sides, they've taken on a fairly exhaustive program in terms of tournament play. They participated in the autumn series in England in 2021, and then a lot of the players who are involved in our men's and women's open competed in the England DTS series, both in the men's and women's, to give them some high level competition. They've also arranged some internationals between themselves and Scotland to basically get used to the level of tournament play they need, and particularly the men's open. They've had quite a big squad of players this time, so some players there like John Ennis and those people back in Ryan Laveau, and they've done a lot of good work behind the scenes to build up the squad, and and Matt Cannon's done a lot of good work with the Women's Open as well. So it's very exciting for us this time, especially the fact that we've actually got, so many women's teams going. We've obviously got the Mixed Open, Women's 27s and 35s, which is, the most women's teams that we've actually sent to the Euros.
Outstanding. That's fantastic. So Katrina, you'd be proud of that fact as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the first time we've sent a women's 35s team, and it's also the first time we've sent a women's open in a long time. So very excited to have 3 women's teams competing this year. And it's great really for women's participation in the sport in Ireland. It's really progressing, and to be able to extend that through to the 35s and have a strong squad traveling this year is really brilliant. So very excited about that.
Awesome. And you mentioned the youth teams as well. Is that sort of being reflected in the youth teams, the female participation?
Yeah, it is. So our under 15s team is a mixed team, but we have a girls team under 18s as well. So we do have the female participation all the way through. Yeah.
Fantastic. And is there any double up with the youth into the Opens programs as well?
I'm not 100% sure. I think our youngest participant in the senior program is actually 18. So I don't think there is. I think it's separate. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So I guess overall, what's the expectations of your teams as you enter the Euros?
This is always an interesting question.
Gold
Are
across
you brave enough? Gold across the board. Throwing down the gauntlet, Katrina.
Yeah. I think it's obviously our men's 50s have a history of doing well. There were 45 gold medalists last time. We won the senior mix last time. We don't have a senior mix this time. Our men's open finished 5th in 2016. They finished 4th in 2018. I think they should be a good chance. Our women's open, as Katrina said, last competed in 2014, and I think they will give a much better showing this time, as there's been a lot of work done by people behind the scenes to develop the Women's Open. A lot of those Women's Open players have come through from our previous junior teams.
Oh, fantastic. And that progression is, a great reflection on how the teams are progressing through. You said you dropped off the senior mix this year, but you're building at that younger level.
Well, I think there was a conscious focus to women's touch.
Right.
Because obviously, if you're mixed, you don't have the women playing middles. So there was a conscious effort to focus on the men's open and women's open, and try and develop the women's as a stepping stone, going from having a mixed open in 2018 to having a women's open, and gradually build up to getting the men's and women's, and then filling all the mixed sites as well.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be working for you there with that contingent that you're taking to the Euros. Katrina, what about yourself? The women's 35s, how do you see yourself faring there?
Yeah, it's an interesting category. So we have an awful lot of experienced players on our team at this stage. A lot of us have been around the block a few times and competed at different levels over the last few years. I've been playing for about 10 years now. So I've played in mixed teams, women's open 27s, and now 35. So come all the way through. I think we're pretty excited at the prospect of competing. We would certainly be looking at hopefully trying to make the final. I think that would be a good achievement for us this year.
But achievable. You're working hard, so you put it out there on the paddock, and anything can happen. The conditions that you're going to face over there, we're hearing here that right across the UK and Europe, you're experiencing some heatwave conditions. How's that going to fare for you?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Obviously, in Ireland, we're not very used to hot weather. So the last week or so, we'll be having a little mini heat wave here. So the temperature's been kind of high 20s, low 30s. But it's starting to cool down now, and hopefully it'll start to cool down in the UK as well. We did compete in Paris in June. and the temperature there that day was about 37 degrees or something. So we have, we have experience in competing in the heat, and we actually managed ourselves, I think, better than we expected that day. We were all dreading the heat, but we did well, and we managed it very well, and just made sure that we were, taking enough water on board and hydration drinks and all that kind of thing. So I think we were pretty well prepared for it. So if it is hot, we'll cope with that.
You crack on. That's excellent. And you mentioned the previous World Cup in Malaysia. Anybody that was there would have experienced the extreme conditions. So
exactly, and the humidity there was really, really tough. So we've plenty of experience in competing in hot weather.
Right. Well, we've talked about the expansion that you've seen in your representative touch, but how will competing in the European Championships contribute to the growth of touch in Ireland? How do you see that reflecting to general participation in the sport?
I think is that from what we've seen in 2018, for example, where we had a lot of the live streaming on, that got additional interest, because obviously people were telling each other, their friends and family, and they could watch it on the live stream. So that's helped raise awareness as well. And also the fact that we have a partnership agreement with the IRFU. So we have a couple of people there within that organisation, which is who are very pro-touch and helping to push that through various locations, in the country. And I think with the European Championships, the visibility of it, and there is an excitement around a couple of the teams, and it's generally just, as you say, you just keep chipping away at trying to let people know that you exist in a lot of locations. We even in our area here in Northern Ireland, we've been doing some work with some local clubs who are not officially started a touch club, but they are actually playing a bit of touch at their local club. So we're doing some local coaching there. And I think those sorts of activities that people are doing, helps raise the awareness, and then eventually those clubs will start to come on and and expand it. And that's happening both in the north and south, and generally across the 4 provinces in Ireland.
Excellent. And Katrina, do you see that reflective in the female participation as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think having big international competitions shows people that this is a really good sport. It's a fast sport, and it's a great sport to compete in. And I think, especially when you're attracting new players to the sport, it helps show them that how good this can be when it's played at an elite level. And it definitely helps to attract new players to the sport.
And to have that. The recognition of the IRFU, world number 1 now on the back of recent victories over the All Blacks.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, so I guess one of the things that we've talked about here, and myself being from Australia, we've seen the successful transition of players from touch into the professional sports. And I talk often about the complementary aspects of our sport in relation to those games. We're not competing against rugby union. We're not competing against rugby league or any of those sports, but the complementary nature of our game and the skill progression. Is that something that would contribute to the growth of touch in Ireland, that relationship that you have with the IRFU in that respect?
Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd hope it would help to promote the game more to all the RFU members. And at the moment, actually, in our club, we have a lot of rugby players who are playing touch in the off season, and they're really enjoying it. They've really embraced it, and they're really enjoying it. They're enjoying the fitness. They're enjoying the skill level. They're enjoying, the small bit. There is a bit of physicality still in touch, so they're enjoying that as well. I think obviously touch is non-contact, but there is a little bit of physicality. So I think they're enjoying that as well, and realizing that it's not. Sometimes they miss the contact from 15s.
Yeah.
So I think they're enjoying that. So I'd hope to keep a few of them on come September, but I'm afraid we might lose them back to 15s. But it's always there as an option, and some of them are returning from injury maybe, or some of them have just retired from 15. So the touch is always there as a nice option when that
Absolutely.
happens.
And the girls on the sevens circuit as well. Do you have any relationship with the sevens program, or have you seen any of the touch girls progress into the Irish sevens team?
We're not currently involved with them now. I know Tanya Rosser has done a lot of work. Tanya coached the senior mixed team the last time we went to the European Championships and the World Cup. And Tanya obviously has a strong 15s background. So I know she's done a lot of work with the 15s girls at national level. So she has brought some of them in. So there has been a bit of flow through there, but I'm not that familiar with it, to be honest.
No, fair enough. That's great, just to get that insight and know that there is some relationship there, and hopefully we'll see that reflected. Yeah, the pathway exists for sure. And that, I think that's really important about the Euros, is to give, as Paul said, exposure to those that aren't necessarily playing it at the moment. But the more the word spreads and they see that there is an international pathway for players, they might take a bite.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's also the other aspect is that I was recently talking to someone from the IRFU where they were saying that, at a lot of the rugby matches, for example, here in Ulster, that a profile of the crowd might give you an indication that 70% of the crowd don't actually play rugby. So, but they're obviously following it. Yeah. And so this gives people another avenue to get into a sport that's, rugby-like in some respects, but, then they don't have that contact side of it. Yeah. So it allows them to participate in something similar, but gives them a better appreciation of the game as well.
Absolutely. Putting what they're seeing on the paddock, and they're able to go out there and try it themselves. And we're not all world champions, but we can certainly get out there and play this great game. That is for sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
We have had a comment come in, so we have a viewer out there, and we'd like to give a shout out to Paul. Obviously, they're proudly wearing the colours. Best of luck to all of the Irish teams in the Euros. So Paul is one of yours, I take it.
Yeah, Paul has competed on a few international teams, I think, hasn't he? Paul, and he's based in Galway, so that's where I started playing my touch, over in Galway with Galway Touch and Raccoon West. So I said I'd give them a little shout out this morning. They taught me everything I know.
That's great, and a nice smile there from Paul too. Really enjoying supporting the Irish teams for the Euros. That's fantastic.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to go to you first, Paul. You say you're coaching the women's 27s. You've been around the game for a while. That's what you're doing this time around. But how excited are you personally for the Euros?
I think this is probably, of all the teams that I've been involved with, probably the best prepared team that I've been involved with. And as I said, we started from essentially a lot of new players in 2020. We've been to tournaments in Portugal. We went to Elegance. We were at a tournament in Dublin on Saturday. And there has been some marked improvement recently. We've done a lot of work with sports psychologists, sports strength and conditioning coaches, some mentoring coaches and things like that. So we've done a lot of different things this time around. And so there's been a marked improvement in the last couple of months of the team. And I think, their confidence level is quite high. So we've done, so we say, what we think is a good preparation this time around. So really looking forward to see how the women go.
That's awesome. That's a really professional outlook that you're bringing to the sport there with the strength and conditioning coaches, the dietitians and the like.
Yes, we've had a lot of, and I think this is the good thing about the touch community in general, that, we've reached out since 2016. We've had, it first started with Peter Bell and Greg Young coming over to a very cold Irish climate, which I still have recollections of Peter being rather cold at the training camps. And beyond that, we've had people from New Zealand over here, and players have reached out to other coaches, and generally the people that you contact are very helpful.
Yeah.
They don't mind giving you time and trying to help progress the sport, which helps the growth, and also fuels the enthusiasm of people. I think to know that they can reach out to other people and they are willing to help you.
I think you've really hit the nail on the head there with the beauty of our sport is that people are so willing to help and get involved that all you have to do is ask sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, awesome. And what about yourself, Katrina? You sounded excited before. How are you going to put it into words?
Yeah, I'm very excited again. I really enjoyed the last European Championships and the World Cup. And so it's been 3 years now. We've had a bit of a break since our last major tournament. So really excited to get going again and get on the plane in a couple of weeks' time.
You said you've been playing for about 10 years. Is this the best prepared you felt for a tournament as well?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we did have a long break, but then we also had a long time to kind of get back into it and get things up and running and get our team planned. I think as a squad, we're quite self-managing. Lots of players at this stage, we're all very experienced. Everyone has different aspects that they can contribute to the team. Yeah. So our squad is a really positive energy in our squad at the moment, and it's really well balanced, I think. And I think everyone is just really looking forward to getting going and playing some good matches.
Sounds awesome. So I'll bring you both back in now. I guess we're looking to wrap up the chat, but is there anything else you'd like to add to the conversation? Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? I hear it might have been somebody's birthday recently, Paul, maybe?
Oh, yeah. The cake's got too many candles on it.
So we have a shout out there for you from Anthony Nolan, mate. A happy belated birthday.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Nolesy on the spot.
Yeah. Just a little bit of shout out. We've been, as I say, just as other people have been helping out, we've been reaching out and trying to help some other people. So I don't know whether you have a session with them or not, but personally, I've been doing a little bit of work with the Bulgarian team, and that's the first European Championships for them. So wish them luck in their debut at the Euros as well.
Awesome. Yeah, great people, the Bulgarians, and I know they're really interested and keen in the championships. So look out for Bulgaria coming along. Katrina, What about yourself? Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
I guess I'll have to plug my club, Old Belvedere, and we've a number of players from Old Belvedere going to the Euros this year, so we're excited about that. And if anyone wants to come down and join us, we train on Monday nights in Old Belvedere at 7:00.
There you go, shout out. I like it. I guess before we do wrap up, and with the sport in Ireland and the growth that you see in the number of teams, whereabouts is it played? Where is it? Right across the 4 counties? Is it an even spread, or is it in any particular area?
Mainly, there's more clubs in Dublin at the moment, but we have clubs now in the 4 provinces. Some are only just starting to come online, but you can see it's like when you start off, you get that very, very slow burn basically, and now what we're starting to see, they're starting to get more and more interest across the whole of Ireland. We have the clubs in Galway and Athlone, Portlaoise and Wicklow and Greystones and Dublin and Belfast, and and I think it's at that point where I think is that we will start to see a more rapid growth now that we got that we got to sort of like a critical mass type structure. That there's more people out spreading the word, so therefore and as that grows, more of the rugby clubs and other venues will start to become available to us to play touch.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm going to end the conversation with the 1 minute elevator pitch. So this is where you each get that 1 minute. You're stuck in an elevator with somebody that doesn't know anything about the game. How do you sell the game of touch football to that person, and how do you sell your competing at the Euros to get them on board? I'll start with you, Katrina.
Well, so judges are fast-paced game, incorporating high skill levels. It's both mental and physical. You need to be quite strategic in touch, but it's also good fun, run around. You get to sub, so you're not on the pitch all the time, which is important when it's so fast. So you get a little bit of a breather as well in the game. It's good fun. You can play it all ages, genders, abilities. You can all play together. You don't need much to play. You just need a ball and some cones. So it's pretty easy equipment-wise. In terms of the Euros, you get to play at an elite level against some really, really amazing teams, and getting to watch others play is also really exciting. That's another exciting thing about going to the Euros. You don't just get to play, but you get to watch some really fast games. Looking at the Women's Open and Men's Open, it's going to be fun, especially their knockouts and finals. So I think that's my pitch.
There you go. Well, I'm just about sold on that one, Paul, but I'm going to give you the final words there. How are you going to get me to come and watch you as opposed to go and watch Katrina?
Oh, I'm afraid in that case there's no contest. Katrina will win. I think really, whether you are 6 to 60 or even in my age group, the coffin dodgers, you can still play. You can still play touch, and you can play it from park level to international level. Yeah. And the best thing about it is that it's really probably one of the most sociable sports that you'd ever want to get into, and you will make friends for life.
Sorry, Katrina, I'm going to watch Paul.
Good
sales pitch. Nicely
he is
done.
An awesome player. He is awesome to watch.
I think you've both really hit the nail on the head there. You can play it from age 6 to 60, men and women, doesn't matter. My body shape, I could still get out there and have a run around. Not very quick. Run is probably a stretch, but you can get out there and have so much fun, and you build relationships. And I think that is the real pinnacle of what you guys are going to experience there in the Euros.
Yeah, I think going to the Euros, we actually have on the Ireland squad, we have players from age 18 all the way up to 67, I think was what I heard. Wow. Maybe there's someone a little bit older. So it's very wide ranging. So you can compete at a high level at any age, which is brilliant.
Awesome. And there we go, Paul. You can see on the screen, Stefan from Bulgaria, giving you a shout out for helping grow the game in Bulgaria, and wishing the Irish teams luck as well. So a shout out to Stefan, one of our great supporters, and a gentleman that's doing so much for the sport, not just in Bulgaria, but internationally as well. So shout out to you, Stefan. And thanks for joining us as we talk to your friends from Ireland. So I think that's just about a wrap, guys. I really appreciate you joining us for the opening set of 6 as we approach the Euros. And personally, I want to wish you all the best. I'm very jealous of the fact that I'm not going to be there to watch the Euros this time around, but one day, hopefully, we'll be in the same place and we'll catch up and say good day.
Thank you much for having us.
No. Thanks a million, Adam, and thanks to Peter in the background as well for looking after us.
Our pleasure, guys. All the best as you make your way into the Euros. We'll talk to some of your competitors in the coming days. And thanks to everybody for joining us for what is a re-entry into the world of the set of 6. And hopefully we can bring you some more coverage as we make our way into the Euros and other championships as well. So all the best to our friends from Ireland. And until next time, it's bye for now.